Hey, hello everybody. Hello. We are back. We're starting like a couple minutes early so that Kehinde can share this on her page via a watch party.
So we're back with Taiwo Kujichagulia-Seitu, Kehinde Salter, and Sister Baby Kujichagulia. Here, still, we are demonstrating every day. We just don't do it with our feet. We do it with our minds and our mouths. So.
And this is day 5. So we're doing this for 7 days. I'm just reminding you all that we're doing this for 7 days. This is day 5 of Name It, Claim It, End It Racism. And we also are uploading these Facebook videos to YouTube so that whoever's not on Facebook has access to it. So if you know of people who are not on Facebook, I know a lot of people are like, what is it called, fasting from social media right now because it's too overwhelming being on social media, and I totally understand. If you're one of those people or you know people like that, you guys can catch these same videos on YouTube. The YouTube page is Resolving Racism. I will put it in the comments, but please go to our YouTube page, like and subscribe, and share it with people who you know are not on Facebook.
We want to make page again.
The name of the page again is Resolving Racism on YouTube. All of these videos are uploaded to it, so once you're on the page, you'll have access to all of these videos and then any other videos we upload in the future. The only difference is here, we get to interact with you guys. So we're looking at your comments. Great. If you're asking questions, we're answering those questions. So the difference between catching it here versus YouTube is just that interaction.
But we definitely want you to go on YouTube and put some likes in there because more people will be going to YouTube. So are we ready now?
Yeah, okay, so if you usually watch this on Kehinde's page, we had some like technical difficulties yesterday, and so she is starting a watch party on her page so that people can watch it on her page while we do this.
It's live on my page. I'm tagging people.
Oh, she's tagging people. Oh, nope, she's making it live on her page because she can't tag anybody for some reason. I don't know, but we're here. We're ready to get started. Yep, we working it out.
I don't know what any of that means because I am not tech savvy. I'm just going to go on. So I want everybody to be clear. We are not here trying to get equality. Equality presupposes inferiority. I do not want to be equal to white psychopathy. I am not inferior to begin with. Therefore, I do not need equality. Stop saying racial equality because you have already validated white psychopathy. And I want to be clear of white psychopathy because a lot of times we've said this definition, but I want to be clear and say it again. Racism is a social system of white psychopathy. So it is systemic white psychopathy. It is white psychopathy throughout the entire system. And when you have white psychopathy throughout the entire system, the result is racism. And so what is white psychopathy? Let's be clear. It is a narcissistic personality disorder of extreme grandiosity, egocentricity, arrogance, a complete lack of empathy or remorse for others. It is a failure to learn from experience. It is a complete disregard by and persistent pattern of disregard for violations of the social, civil, and human rights of others, especially blacks. So when you hear people say things like, oh, all lives matter, psychopathy. When you're crazy, you don't know you're crazy. It's like being an addict. You can have all the interventions you want, but if that family member doesn't know they're addicted, the interventions mean nothing. When you're crazy, you don't know you're crazy. So you'll hear people say crazy things because we've all been taught to be psychopaths. Things like, don't all white lives matter? Don't all lives matter? Sure, all lives matter. Everything that we are doing just simply reveals the magnitude of white psychopathy. So we want to make sure we're clear. White psychopathy shows up in all 10 areas of society. It disenfranchises us economically. It denies the truth in the education system, the miseducation system. It distorts education. It deletes the truth from education. It is denigrating. Our images are denigrated across the entertainment industry. We're either jocks or whores or maids. Let me keep going. It destroys the family unit. It devalues our labor. Racism politically dominates us across every political arena. It dehumanizes us. And scientifically, we are demonized across our religion, and it destabilizes our potential to protect ourselves. Anything that does not address all 10: economics, education, entertainment, family, labor, law, politics, religion, science, war. If it is not addressing all 10 areas, it's not a solution. That's why if you control the mind, you control all the 10 areas of society. That's why we focus on the source. If I can get to the root, I know what's going to happen with the tree.
Right.
If I kill the root, there is no tree.
Right.
If I kill the root, there are no branches to the tree. Every little incident that we can name are all symptoms of white psychopathy. It's the attraction, distraction. They get us focused on the symptoms so that we don't kill the root. Mm-hmm. I focus on the root. We focus on the root. If we get rid of the lies, the truth will be able to flower and flourish. So, with that, we're going to go right into our conversation today. And we're going to really focus on education. Because the reason we're all in this situation is because of miseducation.
Right.
We've all been miseducated.
Taught lies.
All of us have learned the lies. Abraham Lincoln was a great emancipator. No, Abraham Lincoln was an enslaver. Columbus was a great guy. The colonizers were great. They were terrorists. I don't even use the word colonizers. I call them terrorists. We have got to put the truth in the miseducation system. But what about before we get there? Every little 3-year-old knows the N-word. You think that's an accident? It's not an accident. We have to start catching these babies when they're babies so that we eliminate racism. If we eliminate white psychopathy in the brain, you never get to racism. So that's why we're going to focus on education, because we're sick of the miseducation system. We want to get rid of that. And I'm just going to do 3 little points that I'm always focusing on. Parents, we are the first teachers.
Yes, say that again.
Mommies, you are the first teacher of your child. Meaning, if you are not astute, if you are not well educated, if you are not informed, there's no way you can teach your children anything. You have got to be informed. So we are all teachers. We are all part of this village.
Mommies and daddies.
Mommies and daddies.
Yes.
You know, I said parents are the first ones, but of course the baby comes out the mommy.
Right.
You're the first one that baby's going to interact with. And we need all the daddies interacting all the time as much as possible. I've seen families in a car, every single one of them on a different device. That's the perfect, ideal situation to talk to your children. You've got a captive audience. They can't walk away.
You're literally captive.
That's when I talk to my children on long commutes and going to school. We discuss things. So let me get to our main points. Stop trying to be your child's friend. You can be friendly. They have little buddies. You are not your child's friend. You are the one with the intelligence and wisdom. You are the parent, not the friend. Okay? If you grew up teaching that, when you grow up, you can't be friends.
Yeah,
we're
friends.
friendly. But you can't do that if your child is calling mommy, "What's up, Becky Sue?" And the child is telling the parent what to do. No. Stop being your child's friend. Be your child's parent. The other thing, we have got to stop giving children everything they want, because children don't want what they need and they don't need what they want.
Facts.
Start giving children what they want. Give them everything they need. If you give children what they need, you empower them to get the things they want on their own. Now you're teaching responsibility, accountability. Don't give them what they want. Give them what they need. What they need is discipline, self-respect, dignity, integrity, pride. We'll go on to that later. Last but not least, in the school system, in the miseducation system, stop it with these low expectations. You must have high expectations.
All the time.
Wherever you set the bar, the children will try to reach it and go above it. If you set the bar low, you are enabling failure.
Sorry.
If you do not have high expectations for your students, you are enabling failure. You must stop enabling failure and start empowering genius. They can only be geniuses if we guide them towards their genius. First, we have to know they are geniuses. Stop talking to them like they're little idiots. They are fantastic, intelligent little people. Start talking to them as such. So stop giving children what they want. Give them what they need. Stop enabling failure. Start empowering success. Stop being children's friend. Be their parent. Be their adult. Be their guide to success. And I'm going to take a few more class. Do you know, how is it possible that children know the names of all the athletes? They know the names of all the celebrities. They know the names of all the designers. They can tell you scores and break down percentages. Attraction, distraction. How many scholars do your children know? How many historians do your children know? See, this is what's going to change us. Not participating in white psychopathy. We can have fun, but if you don't know where the truth is, how can we change the lies? All right, since we're all educators here, I will let two teachers who are still in the system teaching go ahead and talk about all that, because I could just go on.
Did you want to get talking?
No, you can go first.
All right, so I'm just going to piggyback on what my mom is saying about having high expectations. So I know that as a teacher, one of the things that frustrates me being in the schools, which is one of the frustrations that my sister shares, which is one of the frustrations that I know several staff members, primarily staff members who have brown skin.
Yes.
Some of my coworkers, one of the main things that we notice in the school system is teachers who, like my mom was saying, enable failure by not having high expectations. They give the kids so many excuses. Oh, well, they're having a hard day at home. Oh, well, they're having a hard day, so they don't need to be in class. They just can come sit in the office and kick it. But what are they learning sitting in the office kicking it? They're in school to learn. So why would you put them in an environment where they are not learning? This is the state of our schools, and unfortunately, it happens in all the schools. We give the children excuses to be unsuccessful,
That's right.
And here's the problem
That's
with
right.
that. Once you've taught them it's okay to be unsuccessful, they then grow up and walk into their adult lives thinking it's okay to be unsuccessful. And then where does that go? Well, now I've been taught for 12 years that it's okay to be unsuccessful. So now I can't get a job. Oh, you mean nobody's going to just have pity on me because
Not at all.
I had a rough day
Not
at
at
home?
all.
It is extremely problematic, and we set our students up for failure.
That's right.
When we are not honest with them and say, hey, look, stuff happens. Suck it up.
Keep it moving.
Keep it moving. Now, can I have sympathy, compassion for you? Yes. Can we have a conversation off the record? Now, if you having a really jacked up day, can I take 5 minutes and get my class started and step to the side and have a conversation with you and encourage you? Yes. And go, you know what, baby? Life is rough.
That's
I
right.
understand.
That's right.
But you need to be able to, when life knocks you down, you got to be able to get back up. I can encourage you that way, but for me to give you a pass to not do what you're supposed to do and to not learn means I am enabling your failure later on in life. And we see it time and time and time again. Children who are passed to the next grade level, knowing good and well they're not prepared.
That's right.
Good and well they're not prepared. Children getting passed into high school.
That's
you
right.
didn't successfully complete 6th grade. Why are you being passed out of middle school? It is a problem. It's problematic, and the system is put in place to ensure
Right.
that we
Fail.
to ensure our failure. Because look, again, I was thinking about this earlier today. The system is put in place to ensure our failure. It is not an accident that it is not an accident that since this nation's founding, the people have not elected the president. We do not elect the president. The founding fathers, the people who created this country, did not trust people who were not the 1%, the landowners, I'm not even talking race. If we know that race is an invention,
the 1%.
but it's the 1%ers. It's the rich people, the landowners, the ones that were educated, right? The ones that they entrusted to make decisions for everybody else. It is not an accident that we don't elect the president. We don't elect the president. And yet, what do we see every 4 years? All these campaigns as though we actually have a say in who gets elected president. Look, if we never voted another presidential election, it wouldn't matter because the Electoral College are the people who actually elect our president. Now, what do we have a say in? We have a say in local elections. Mayor, governor,
Absolutely.
all the local or school board. The people put in place to actually make decisions for the education of the children in our community, propositions, the things that actually affect us, we do have a say in that. But the distraction, the craziness is you will have millions of people go out and vote for president who will never show up for a local election. When the local elections we actually have a say in,
they don't show up for.
And they don't show up for. That is the miseducation system. It's not an accident that, we're trained to not look at the facts and think critically. If you look at on election day, and they're like, this person's in the lead, this person's in the lead. This many electors have already voted. We're waiting on the electors to vote in these states. They literally tell you right there as they're updating what is happening, and yet and still, the vast majority of Americans still believe that we pick the president. This is the miseducation system at work. We're not telling people the truth.
Constantly have to be focusing on the truth in every area. All 10 areas of society, we need the truth. But however, we especially need it in the miseducation system where we are programmed to believe in white superiority, programmed to believe in black inferiority. I will always ask the math teachers immediately, have you told your children that Africans invented mathematics? Because the minute you do that, every little black child then realizes, what? I invented this? I don't know I'm acing this class. We don't tell our children the truth, so they think they are supposed to be failures, and we enable them. Oh, baby, that's okay. You don't have to take this test. You're going to fail the test of life. Take the test. Go there. When my children say, I'm having a headache, I say, me too. Pull out your book. Miss Kujichagulia, I don't feel good. I don't feel good either. Pull out your book. Miss Kujichagulia, I'm tired. I'm tired too. Pull out your book. No excuses. High expectations. Stop enabling failure. Start empowering success. Are you awake?
Yeah. Please forgive me, guys. My allergies are going crazy, and I took Allegra and Benadryl.
Oh my gosh.
Benadryl is the devil.
Benadryl makes my energy go.
Benadryl.
Nettle.
And that's on top of nettle and what's it called? Local honey and all of that.
All right.
But for all of the educators out there, and for all those persons that do need to start contributing into their local elections and local political, system, it's very important. I always say reflection. What is it, Taiwo? Representation.
Representation matters.
Thing.
That is what she always says when she's not sleepy.
Yeah. So it's not that I'm sleepy. It's that it's like my energy is low.
Yeah.
So representation matters. I need to clarify and I need to stress how important it is to have educators that represent the student body that they're teaching, and that look like the students that they teach. Because OUSD, where we work, Oakland, California, the Oakland Unified School District right now, is primarily black and brown students, right? But our teachers are not. We do not have that many. There's not very many black teachers in Oakland. And not in Oakland, in OUSD. There's a lot of black teachers,
in Oakland,
but a lot of them are in charter schools and public and private schools.
Because
and
the public education, miseducation system is a hot mess.
Yes.
And so, as black educators, there's all these barriers to getting us in the doors, and then there's all this mess that people rather not deal with. And I mean, personally, I've been teaching for 21 years, and I've only been in OUSD for the last 4 on purpose. But the Lord moved me in, so I'm here, and I'm not leaving until Jesus tells me to. That's another story. But the barriers that are in the way of getting more black teachers inside of the public school system for one thing, you can't even apply without your bachelor's degree. So unless you have the money to pay for that piece of paper that says you know what you already know, right? Unless you have the money for that to prove, to pay somebody to say, hey, can you validate that I already know this stuff?
Licensing, all
Yep,
of that.
that's what we talked about.
Yesterday.
Yep, there's that.
Barriers.
And then you could have your bachelor's and your master's
And
your
a whole PhD.
and still not be a valid teacher without a whole
That's
another
right.
piece of paper
That's
called
right.
a credential
That's
that
right.
says again, oh, now you're certified to teach only this one subject. If you are a master of education like we are, and were already credentialed by the Most High God to already have the knowledge
Boom.
to teach multiple subjects,
That part.
that doesn't mean anything within this system
no.
because now I got to go take several tests and I got to get several pieces of
That's right.
paper
And jump
to
through several
prove
flaming hoops.
that I can teach this and that. Oh, now I got to get another piece of paper. Oh, now I got to pay another fee.
And they're just trying to make sure that you are properly programmed to pass on the myth of white psychopathy
That
in
part.
your classes.
Yes.
The racism cannot afford to have informed, intelligent, wise people teaching children, because then the children will be educated, intelligent, and successful. People found that out with the Black Panther Party. People always leave this last part off.
For
self-defense. They want to make you think they were crazy folks. No, they were defending their community. But you know what the Black Panther Party did when the media wasn't looking at them? The thing that they did most, they studied. They had work study groups. They read books. They learned. And they made sure that education went into the schools, and they started their own schools. That's the information that enables you to free yourself from white psychopathy, and now you can train other people to do that. Racism cannot afford for us to know that truth. So they make sure that they put teachers in the schools who are unable to do that. Teachers like me, I can't even get a job teaching in a school. I can't even tell you how many schools don't want me anywhere near them, but that's okay, because I know every time I open my mouth, I am teaching. I am teaching everywhere, because every moment is a teachable moment, and everything we say is teaching somebody something. Don't want equality. I want the elimination of racism. Don't want equality. I'm already wonderful. I am bringing about the elimination of white psychopathy, the elimination of racism. Speak it into existence and it will happen.
Yes.
We have that power.
We have power.
Yeah,
Yes.
so then when you do get in these schools and you see a lot of teachers that don't represent the children because they mean well and because they feel, their heart is in the right place and their
That's true.
intentions are in the
That's
right
true.
place.
Yes, they
are. And we like that.
And we love
that.
and
Yes.
appreciate that. That's when all of our children get all these passes, right? You're sick, you don't feel good. Oh, this child is experiencing, and at Fremont High School where I teach, it's a lot of stuff going on with these kids. These children are experiencing homelessness. We have a lot of newcomers that are here by themselves, unaccompanied minors, no family, no adults to care for them, and they got to work to pay back the fee that they had to pay to get here in the first place. So they're working and going to school.
Wow.
Or we have kids that are in foster care, group homes, in and out of jail, in the system, or they're with their families, but it's a bad situation. There's all these things, but so is life. That's his life.
Oh, well.
And so
Yeah.
with me, it's like, oh, sweet. I know I've been there. Yep, that was part of my life too.
Oh,
Yep,
well.
I shared this experience
well.
with you. However, this education is what's important right now. So we still need to put that on the back burner for later, and you still need to do X, Y, and Z, but that's not happening. So instead of encouraging excellence, instead of making sure that we set the bar high, the bar has been set very, very low.
Low.
And then we have
In our schools.
yeah,
In our schools.
In the case of my union, and I mean unions are good and unions can also be bad. In the case of my union, we have a whole union fighting to set the bar low.
Yes.
And I'm the one person
Yes.
that's like, are you freaking kidding me? No. I don't care what's going on. If we're on distance learning, then we need to make sure those kids get online and do what they need to do. I get that it's a barrier. I don't like it. I cried the first week. I cried the first week because I hate sitting in front of a computer screen all day long. However, because I know what my job is, and because I'm like, I'm here to teach these kids, I'm going to do what I need to do, and we need to make sure our kids are doing that, but that is not happening. I need for everybody to make sure, because this is where you come into play, right? School board elections are coming up. We are in control of who's on the school board, the elections, whatever agenda the community pushes, everybody else is going to have to get on board. We don't have to wait for them to pass legislation.
That's right.
That's what everything is about.
That's right.
Whatever the community says, that's what needs to happen. So if the community is saying, great, we know that you feel for our kids, wonderful. We still need to set the bar high.
That's right.
So no matter what, you guys need to make sure that you're doing X, Y, and Z for these children, then that's what we need to do. Because at the end of the day, this world is going to our children.
That's right.
And shame on us.
That's right.
Shame on us.
Shame on us.
If we leave them ill prepared
That's right.
for life in the real world,
That's right.
beyond OUSD or school or whatever
Anything
it is.
else. And I will give you an example of one of the things I do in my class. I do not teach, or when I was teaching, I didn't go there for you to like me. I'm not
careless.
I don't care if you don't like me. I'm not here to be liked. I'm here for you to learn.
Exactly.
And I will be on your butt
Yes.
if you are not learning, because I love
Like
you.
white on rice.
It's like flying. Why does the mama eagle kick the baby eagle out the nest? Because they hate them? No. Because that baby eagle has to learn to fly
Yep.
on their own.
That's right.
So one of the things that I do in some of my classes is that I take that little piece of movie Ray Charles, that's what it was called, right?
Ray.
And I take the part where he said, Mama, I'm going blind. And he says, help, Mama, help, Mama. What does the mother do? She does not come in and take over for him. She lets him know he has the power to fix this on his own. I can figure this out.
Yeah.
She set the bar so high that Ray Charles was able to do anything, everything. If she had set the bar low, none of us would even know who he is right now. We have to teach people how to fish. Stop giving them fish.
Yes.
Teach them how to net, how to put on the bait. We have to show them that they have the power to get and do the things they need. Stop setting the bar low. Set it so high, because you know what, children, they want your respect.
They do.
They want you to love them, and they want to achieve and excel because they want to be ingratiated by you. So you set the bar here, they'll perform here.
Mm-hmm.
You set it here, they'll perform here. If you set it under my feet, they'll be below the ground. Bad, and I don't want to use this example, but I'm gonna just make it very plain. Nobody during enslavement capitalism went to those children and said, I know you're having a hard day. You don't have to pick cotton today. Everybody's having a hard day all the time. Do your best. When I was in school at getting my bachelor's in science, I had a full-time job working as an assistant teacher in Oakland Unified. I was at Oakland Unified in the day teaching. I went to school at night. I had 2 part-time jobs on the weekend. I worked at the library and work study at the university, and then I was a cocktail waitress. I had children on my own, and I had no car, and I was a straight A student. I was cum laude, and I did it all. We all had issues.
Facts.
We all have things to do. We prioritize and pick what we want to do. And remember, racism's job is to distract us from doing what we need to do so that we can fight racism. You can't hide this from the children. How will they fight it if you hide it from them? That's why you're taught to hide things from them. When I would go to lectures, who do you think I took to those lectures? Babies. I took my babies.
We went.
Did I put them in a different room? How are they going to learn to be a revolutionary if they're in a different room? You have to know children are geniuses.
Geniuses.
The less you teach them, the less you allow that genius to shine. It's going to take genius to eliminate racism, not to get equality. Don't want equality. Stop using that word. Stop sanitizing white psychopathy. We are talking about the elimination of racism. We're talking about the elimination of white psychopathy. So when you ask yourself, is what I'm doing helping? Ask yourself this one question. Is what I'm doing going to help eliminate the myth of white supremacy? If the answer is no, do something different. Is what I'm doing going to help eliminate the myth of black inferiority? If the answer is no, do something different. Do things that eliminate racism. Do things that eliminate white psychopathy, not sanitize them, not glamorize them, and stop putting makeup on racism. It's not equality. This is a freedom movement. This is a movement, a revolution. Excuse me, it's not a movement. People call the civil rights movement the civil rights movement. That was a freedom movement. They were freedom fighters. This is a change we want now, a fast change. And I'm using English, your words, revolution. English language, fast change, revolution.
Radical.
This is a revolution. And anybody who is fighting in this revolution is a revolutionary. Do not let the media get you stuck with the word protesters. You can protest clouds. Doesn't matter.
Sassy once protested brushing her teeth. That doesn't make her revolutionary. It was brilliant the way she did it. It was absolutely.
Her daughter,
children are brilliant. My youngest 8-year-old daughter. She's 8 now, but at the time I think she was 4, and I told her to brush her teeth, and she went, got a piece of paper, a marker, drew a mouth with teeth and a toothbrush, and wrote out on the paper, "I don't want to brush my teeth." Held it up to me as I'm trying to get out the door. Look, that's a protest.
Oh my God!
It was amazing, and I took a picture of it, put it on Facebook because I thought it was hilarious. That's a protest. These are not protesters. These are revolutionaries. There's a difference. You can protest anything. Children protest when they don't want to eat their vegetables. I protested washing dishes. I dragged my sister into it. We marched back and forth from my mom's bedroom to the kitchen. We're not washing dishes. We are protesting like some little dummies. We got in trouble. Remember that. But that was a protest, not a revolutionary act. What we need, that's hilarious. What we need is radical change. We need something beyond what we've seen before, because like Taiwo pointed out on one of the other days, right? Every time something has happened and there's been some type of change, it was like, we just want to be free. Okay, then 1865, 13th Amendment ended slavery. And then it was like, we just need legislation. Well, then Reconstruction. Then the whole legislation changed again in the 1960s after all the protests and sit-ins. And, well, maybe if we get laws, maybe if we get the right to vote, and then all that, well, maybe with integration, and then all that stuff happened. Because it doesn't change, it doesn't end racism. And then, like I said, how many Martin Luther King Jr. boulevards do we have right now? And nothing's changed. So it's going to go beyond legislation. It's going to go beyond naming a street sign or painting on the street. Black Lives Matter. It's not what we see. It's what we think. And the way that we treat each other. So it has to go beyond
superficial, cosmetic, shallow changes.
It has to go beyond that. We can do all the legislation in the world. You can't change people's laws. You have to change their hearts and their minds.
Isn't it illegal to kill people?
People still do it. People still get murdered.
Isn't it illegal to rob? People still rob. Isn't it illegal to destroy private property? People still property. Isn't it illegal to kill? Unless you change your mind, nothing will change. We've got to focus on changing minds. That means all of these racist textbooks that protect white psychopathy out. We need to be having people who overstand white psychopathy to be writing these books.
And let me just say this. It's time to start answering questions and comments. Let me just say this. I know it's difficult. We live, and this is by design, we live in a country where we're given so many things to distract us. So many things. On purpose. If it's not this device, right? Or the movies, or the sports, or the entertainment industry. If it's not
fashion,
not that, it's all these pills people are popping. If it's not the pills, it's this liquor that people are drinking. There's always some type of distraction, right? Wait. Or it's the legal drugs that
pharmaceutical companies.
That's
those drug dealers.
I'm sorry, that's what I meant. I meant those pills. I didn't because the pills the kids are popping on the streets now are pharmaceutical grade pills.
Yeah,
it's that.
Those are the big drug dealers.
That stuff. So even the medications, everything. Because if we know that we have all the power, the power's in ourselves. If we know that, nobody's going to get healed of anything because you know that you don't need all of that stuff. But what I'm saying is, parents. You mean no one's going outside of them? Right. Yeah. So what I'm saying, parents and educators and anybody that deals with any human beings, but especially the little ones that we call children,
the little people. We must.
We must.
We must.
Speak it into existence.
To pour into these children. We have to learn how to teach children how to love each other, how to have compassion for each other, how to have kindness towards each other.
Self-respect.
Self-respect.
Yes.
We see children being ugly to other children all the time. But where's that coming from? Because you do what you see and what you learn.
This violent America.
If there's a whole bunch
hateful
of disrespect
America
happening at home, there's going to be a whole lot of disrespect that child is pouring out of themselves, right? And it doesn't need to be disrespect within the family structure. They can watch you disrespect perfect strangers.
That's right.
They can watch you dishonor and disregard people you don't know, and all they're learning is it's okay for me to mistreat this other human being. We can't do that.
Or to not stand up for another human being. What would you do?
That's also mistreating.
Yes.
We cannot afford to do that. We must teach our children, and we have to love each other, be compassionate for one another, stand up for one another, and this thing that's really a social construct, this thing that we call race, right, that doesn't really exist, but existed to perpetuate why it's okay to do things to certain people. We got to put into the children that we are all the same. We are all the same. We're all human beings, and that every single human being is worthy of love and respect and compassion and all of those
at
things.
Least respect. If you can't do anything else, just don't disrespect.
Right, because that's where we need to start to change people's minds and hearts. Because if you're respecting people, you're not going
to disrespect them,
and you're not going to do anything harmful towards them because racism tells you that's okay.
It's very harmful. And for the people out there who think they don't have the power, stop thinking like that. You have all the power. People will always try to tell you that you're not qualified unless you pay them some money
for a piece of
and
paper.
They give you a credential, and now they tell you that you're qualified. Let me tell you, when people ask me, what degrees do I have? You know what I tell them? I tell them very clearly, I have 360 degrees. Full circle genius. 360 degrees. How many degrees do you have?
Boom.
Not only that, I know your degree is in white psychopathy. You've been trained to promote white psychopathy. I have 360 degrees, none of them in white psychopathy or racism.
Boom. Facts.
So I think we're gonna try to close it up. We're trying to keep into this half hour. And look at some questions. Kehinde's on her job over there.
One of the questions is, what is psychopathy again? Can you define it again?
Thank you.
Yes, let's define that again.
And I want to be clear, with the definition, because I have it in my mind, but I want to make sure I'm saying it so that everyone can really look at it. Psychopathy is a narcissistic, infantile personality disorder of extreme arrogance and egocentricity, complete lack of empathy or remorse for others. It is distinguished by a persistent pattern of disregard for a violation of the social, civil, and human rights of others, especially blacks. And psychopaths never learn from their past failures. That's why we're where we are. So all those people saying none of this matters, it just proves evidence of psychopathy. All the people saying, well, white lives matter too. Sure they do. But it proves you're psychotic because you don't understand that the issue is not with white folks. White folks don't worry about their children not coming home. We do. I have to worry, am I going to make it home? Is some cop going to stop me? Is some racist going to try to attack me? Psychopathy. If you don't see that, that is evidence of psychopathy. Look it up, read it. We've got to start reading books, people.
And on day 7, we're just going to go through a list of terminology. And
we're going to try, to give people new words to use. And I hope no one is using the phrase justifiable homicide.
It is unjustifiable genocide. We went through that yesterday.
Unjustifiable genocide. So today, we're going to stop using the term systemic racism. It's systemic white psychopathy. A system of white psychopathy. Systemic white psychopathy. Don't ever use the word supreme. Don't teach the little babies it's supreme to be white. That's teaching white superiority and all others are inferior. Call it what it is. It's a disease of the mind. White psychopathy. Be clear. This is not about Caucasians. This is not about white people. There were Caucasians on the planet for centuries, thousands of years before the white psychopathy was invented.
That's right.
This is not about white people. It's not about Caucasians. We are denigrating, pointing out, and calling out the problem, the root, white psychopathy. That's the problem. And no matter what you look like, you can believe white is inferior. What is the crazy lady?
You can believe
that
white is superior.
Oh, excuse me. Yes. Yeah. So of course, when you see all these Negroes who are being thrown up to, promote white psychopathy, it's more evidence of psychopathy.
The new black chick who's on Fox News. I can't think of her name because it's unimportant to me. But she keeps showing up in my news feed on Facebook about why she doesn't feel like George Floyd should be a martyr or whatever. It's white psychopathy. We can all believe in it. It doesn't matter what you look like. You can believe in it.
If you believe you're inferior, there you are.
Yeah.
That's what we have to change. We don't want to change. We want to eliminate it.
Here's another question. This is a good question, Christy. She says, I've been personally using the word systemic. What makes this word not okay?
Tell me what systemic means. That's why it's not okay. We are giving all these words to further obfuscate, confuse the situation. I always try to say, can a 5-year-old understand it? If a 5-year-old can understand it, you're doing all right. Why don't we just say a system?
Yeah.
Why don't we just say a system? Because that's what racism is. It's a system. So to say systemic racism is redundant. It's a system of what? White psychopathy. Systemic, cute word, sounds nice. I'm sure somebody got their thesis off that word, but it does not move us forward. So it's a system. All children know when you say system, okay, I got a good idea of that. Don't confuse the children. Make things very clear.
And
Thank you. Great question.
Danny said, that's why we need African-centered education. Have we thought about developing an African-centered school? If we do, please call him.
That's Diallo Hines?
Yeah.
My queen, that's Tayo out there. Oakland has
lot.
Many African-centered schools. So we don't play here in the
We're the product of
we
one.
Do not play.
We are the product of
Umoja House.
Umoja House. Whoop,
Sister Linda Johnson, whoop whoop.
African Children's
Learning Center. I was teaching there. I taught at Ile Omode.
So,
whoop, whoop.
I just want to go back to the comment Malcolm X said, too. You don't take your case to the criminal. You take your criminal to court. So we need to be going to the United Nations charging crimes against humanity. Same thing with the school system. You don't send your children to your enemy to be educated. The enemy is not a color. The enemy is a mentality. African-centered schools teach that we love African-centered children. Not only that, they teach the truth. So you can actually, if every school taught the truth, it would be fine. They just simply do not, because it would not be beneficial to racism, capitalism, white psychopathy. But great question, yes.
Trugrat says, focus on wellness, not sickness.
Yes. Totally.
Yeah, Alison says, yes, my black people, we have witnessed 55 years of symbols without substance.
Thank you.
Yeah. Since civil rights, ... Yes.
That's right. Since the freedom movement.
Yeah.
Yes. So we all have the power. Please watch your language. Please stop saying things that reinforce psychopathy. Think about it and see if it makes sense. And if it's not the truth, don't let it come out of your mouth. Stop saying American democracy. You know good well there's no democracy in America.
It's not.
Stop saying those words.
And if you know what the definition of democracy is,
you know
there's no democracy. But a lot of people throw that term around because they don't really know what democracy is. So we can't call what this is democracy if we are sitting up lying to people saying they can vote for president, but we never vote for president. That is not democracy.
And whatever you repeat, you perfect. Whatever is repeated is perfected. That's why our words are going to change this world. Unjustifiable homicide. White psychopathy. Should I go? No, I'm not going to go there. We'll say that for tomorrow. Okay. More words. We'll have more. And one last term. Before colonization, there was culture and medicine and science in the Western Hemisphere. Olmec, Aztec, Toltec, Inca, Chippewa, Seminole, Cherokee. There was culture, medicine, science in the Western Hemisphere before Caucasians migrated to the Western Hemisphere. So when we say the words we've been taught, Western culture, lie. When we say Western culture, unless you're talking about Olmec, Aztec, Toltec, Inca, Seminole, Cherokee, Ohlone, you're not talking about Western culture. You're talking about European culture in the Western Hemisphere. Let's be clear. We dishonor every indigenous person when we say Western culture and do not apply it to the real people who establish culture in the Western Hemisphere. Stop calling indigenous people in the Western Hemisphere Indians.
Oh God, please stop.
Indian is a native of India. Every time you do that, you honor the psychopath Columbus who thought he was in India. He was an idiot.
And you confuse the children who don't understand what you're trying to say. I had a whole conversation with my 8th graders who kept using Native American and Indian interchangeably. I said, who are you talking about? Are you talking about the people from India? They said,
that's right.
No, we're talking about Native Americans. I said, well, first of all, anyone who's born in America is Native. Technically speaking, if you're born here, that makes you a native. So if you're talking about the indigenous people of this country, let's call them indigenous people. But for God's sakes, please stop calling them Indians. And they said, and this is where education comes in, history teachers. They said, well, the text that we were reading in class, which was a text written in the 1800s, the text refers to them as Indians. I said, okay, but you need to understand that that is what they called them then. Now in 2020, if we know that they are not from India, why are you then calling them Indians? And they looked at me and they didn't have an answer because what I was asking them made sense. I said, so I need you guys to do things that are accurate. If you know they're not Indian, don't call them. I understand that the text you use, it's a text from the time period refers to them as Indians. But because they were wrong 200 plus years ago, does that mean you have to still be wrong now?
And that's evidence of white psychopathy in the miseducation system. The textbooks were written to promote white psychopathy. We've got to stop doing that. We are not in the India of the West. Stop saying West Indies. It's the Caribbean.
It's not a thing.
Caribs were the most dominant ethnic cultural group in that area. The Arawak, the Siboney, the Caribs. They were the Caribbean people. It's the Caribbean people. It's not the West Indies. This is not the India of the West. Think outside the box. Do some critical thinking. Analyze logically all the insanity, the psychopathy that's been programmed into us and for which we were rewarded with degrees. The whole system, remember I said system, is racist and wrong. Education, entertainment, family, labor, law, politics, religion, science, war, economics. If it's not addressing white psychopathy in all those areas, find something that is.
And to Plessy's point, Plessy put the name of the chick in the Candace something. Owens, I think. And somebody was like, yep, that's her, brainwashed, pathetic, and all of that. And when I first saw her, she pissed me off, and I was so angry. And then I had to remember, of course she's brainwashed. Everybody's brainwashed. Like, we grew up in America. We grew up here. Right. It's like they just literally take your brain and put soap and just do that.
They take white psychopathy in your brain and do that.
So we have to acknowledge that that's what's going on. And if we acknowledge that, and if we know that we are now going, okay, we are going to totally shift the narrative, change the narrative, and we're going to work on undoing that, all of that, we have to remember, right? Everybody doesn't know what we know.
Everybody's not woke.
Everybody's moving.
We all have to wake up.
Yeah. Everybody's moving.
And it's not our fault that you don't know. It's not your fault. It's only your fault once you hear and you don't change.
And we have to be on a human level.
That's right.
We have to have compassion for each other. And I'm just going to share this story that Taiwo shared on her thing, and I totally forgot about it. So when I was working in Walnut Creek, all my students were white, and I told you the little kids would ask me questions. Well, one little girl, she was like 2. I don't know if she was 3 yet. She came in, and we're dancing and everything. And I'm teaching dance, so I have on like leggings, stuff where you can see my body. Leggings and a tank top. And she said, where's your tail? And I said, excuse me?
And she said, "Where's your tail?" And I didn't think I heard her correctly. And I said, "What'd you say, baby?" She was like, "Where's your tail? My grandparents told me that black people have tails." And her grandparents were on the other side of the window because you couldn't there was windows on either side of the studio where you could see it. And they're like smiling at her and waving. And I looked at them and I'm pissed. I got so pissed off. I said, "Oh, these white people are telling their white grandchild that black people have tails," because that was
what they were taught.
What they were taught.
And I was so enraged. And I was in a room full of little white children, pissed. And I knew it was not her fault.
That's right.
I said, she asked me this question because that's what she was taught. And they taught that to her because that's what they were taught.
That's right. That's why miseducation.
And I could not spaz out. I didn't want to scare her. It wasn't her fault. And I said, "Oh, sweetie, that's not true." And she said, "But my grandparents said it's true." And I turned around, and because I had on leggings, leggings are very tight. I said, "Do you see a tail right here?" She was like, "No." And she's giggling. I said, "Yeah, that's because it's not true." I said, "And guess what? I come from a whole family of other black people like me. None of us have tails." And she was like, "Okay, I'm going to tell them." And so after the class was over, I didn't even look at her grandparents because I was so pissed off that they were perpetuating this lie.
Oh my God.
And they were very rude to me when I first met them.
They think you have a tail.
Right. They talked to me like I had a tail. By the end of that, school year or whatever, they were the sweetest people. They thanked me profusely. They thanked me on how well I dealt with their granddaughter. Right. I think that they know that I told her that black people did not have tails because she told them black people don't have tails, and the next week they could barely look me in my face. My point is this. Story. We have to acknowledge where we all are. Now, had I just spazzed out, lost my shit,
they'd approve.
I would have lost my job. And they also would have said, you see
black folks are angry, crazy black people.
And not that it's on our shoulders to have to bear the burden to right all the wrongs.
That's right.
It's not for us to do, but when you have the opportunity to do it. Just do it. And just acknowledge that it's because they were taught wrong too. We were all miseducated. And so now we're dealing with that miseducation, and we go, okay, wait, let me not get pissed. Everybody was taught the same lies. Okay, I understand that. Let's just combat it and keep it moving.
That's why anger is not going to fix this.
It stands in the way of fixing it.
You make horrible decisions when you're angry. Being upset won't fix this. You must be calm. You must think critically.
Think clearly.
You must acknowledge your genius and your power to fix this, and not let anyone tell you that you're not qualified to do so. If you're alive on this planet today, guess what? You're qualified. That's why you're here. That's your mission. That's your purpose. Either we are going to be part of the solution, or we're going to be part of the problem.
And let's think critically and act in wisdom, people.
Please, discernment and wisdom. Discernment and wisdom. No one can receive what you have to say if you're screaming and hollering at them because you're angry.
So, stop saying white supremacy. It's white psychopathy. And if you say white supremacy, like I tell my students, I'm not. You must put the words "the myth of" or "the lie of" white supremacy. But just why do all that wording? Just call it what it is. It's a disease. White psychopathy.
Alison said psychopathy equals Trump. Yeah.
He's a psychopath. And why is he so bold and brazen? Because psychopaths don't know they're psychopaths. He is the perfect example of a psychopath. And go get help. Somebody go get that fool some help. Ooh, yeah, he's a fool. What can I say?
All right, and then
I'm gonna be honest.
Danny says, is your book, Recognizing and Resolving Racism, available in a digital learning platform?
Is there? I don't know if it's available in a digital platform. I know it is available for purchase on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. I'm not sure if it's available in a digital platform.
I don't even know what a digital platform is.
Mommy.
Catch her up. My daughter just told me today they're gonna put it in a, what did you call it?
An audio book.
Audio book.
An audio book.
What is a digital platform?
It's where you can read it online.
Oh.
not in a physical
In an
book.
app.
Like,
So I have a
oh,
Kindle app and I can read books on my
phone.
app.
Quincy,
tablet.
will you help us do that? Because you know I don't know.
So look, we're gonna make
Yes.
sure that it will be
Help
available in a digital format because my mom is technology. She's not caught up, and that is fine. She has a wealth of knowledge that we're gonna make sure that people can access in multiple ways.
And then tell them
you.
about the YouTube page again.
Oh yes,
Oh yes.
please. We have it. So for people who are not on Facebook, we have a YouTube page. It's called Resolving Racism. All of these videos are uploaded to that page daily every time we do one. And then any other videos that we do will be uploaded to that page. So if you know of people who are like staying off of social media because it makes your anxiety way too high and it's too much craziness, please share the YouTube page with them. So it's Resolving Racism on YouTube. All the videos are there. Please like and subscribe.
Yeah, and
all that
you
good stuff.
please go to YouTube and like us, please.
And that's an easy way to share these videos with
Yes.
people who are not on Facebook. My husband is not on Facebook. Like, he is anti.
I'm not on Facebook. I just have one friend. That's my dog.
And it's not both of us. It's only me.
Well, that's the one who does the cooking shows. I do that to watch my grandchildren on the cooking show.
So yes, please visit the YouTube page, Resolving Racism. I will put the link somewhere in the comments. I'll also put the links for the book in the comments.
And remember, saving humanity is fun.
We have
Oh
fun.
my gosh. It's a wonderful thing to do. How could you not enjoy saving the human race? Stop worrying about climate change. We're going to kill each other long before the earth disintegrates.
Yeah, if we don't fix some things, it's a wrap.
We have to fix us first,
Yeah.
okay? The earth has been here for 4 billion years before you got here. It'll probably be here for 4 billion years after we kill each other if we don't learn how to respect each other. You have the power. Take it. Use it. Stop asking people to give you something and take back your power and use it.
Amen.
All right.
So we will see you guys tomorrow.
Yes, we will see you tomorrow. So this is day 5. We will see you on day 6
days.
tomorrow at 2 o'clock. I will upload this video to the YouTube
Go
page.
like us.
And we will upload the remaining videos to YouTube as well. Resolving Racism on YouTube. Like and subscribe. We love you guys. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.
Make the world a better place.
Yes,
Love
you guys.
yourself. Love
Thank you
yourself.
for joining us. Bye-bye.
Bye.